Hey guys, Eli here. Apologize if there's any background noise sitting in the car with my son, watching my daughter try out for Atlanta United's RDS program. So I'm not alone in the car. Wanted to recap this week's activity, talk you through some data that was gathered using Pulse, Driveline's Pulse sensor, and also an Armcare strength and range of motion assessment that I took earlier today. So what you're looking at is the Pulse dashboard on their iPhone app. You can see my activity for the week. So today, Friday the 29th, was a recovery day for me. Thursday the 28th, Wednesday the 27th were both hybrid B long toss days. Tuesday the 26th was a recovery day, and then Monday the 25th was another hybrid B long toss day. So the numbers at the top of the columns tell you how many throws were made. I made 80 throws with 5-ounce baseballs, normal baseballs, on this hybrid B long toss days. Pulse is missing a few, and the reason it's missing a few is some of those throws at the very beginning of the throwing session have such low intent that the Pulse sensor doesn't pick them up. But I made 80 throws on hybrid B, every hybrid B long toss day, with 5-ounce baseballs. Also, another note, I did not wear the Pulse sensor Monday through Thursday when I did my weighted plyo ball throws. I did wear it on Friday the 29th, today, when I did my recovery day for the weight. I wore it when I did my weighted plyo ball throws. That was an error or a mistake on my part. I'll wear it for all throws moving forward. So to sum up that activity, I made 270 regular baseball throws, 5-ounce baseball throws, about 115 weighted plyo ball throws. Before I throw a baseball, I go through a pretty intense warm-up session, which includes Jaeger bands, wrist weights, shoulder tubes, and then I do a recovery session after every throwing session, which includes Jaeger bands again, shoulder tube again, some super band pull-aparts, and some weighted plyo ball tosses, and some kettlebell carries. So there's a lot more than just throwing the 5-ounce baseballs, throwing the weighted plyo balls. There's pretty intense warm-ups and recovery. So a lot of activity. It's a very high amount of activity, more than I really have ever done before. Even during my playing days, I didn't do this much activity, this intense of activity either. So I wanted to see how my arm looked in terms of strength and health today after 3 hybrid B long toss sessions and a recovery session. One more note before I jump over to the Armcare assessment. I stopped these long toss sessions at 270 feet. That's about 80% intent for me. The reason I stopped them at 270 feet is because prior to this week, I tried to push 300 feet plus on the hybrid B long tosses, and the final hybrid B long toss day, every time I tried to push 300 plus on every hybrid B long toss day, I got a little fatigue on that final hybrid B long toss day around the 210, 240, 270 mark. I started feeling a decent amount of fatigue. Yesterday, I did feel a little bit of fatigue when I got to 270 feet, but nothing like the previous week. So it's telling me my arm is building up endurance. It's building up durability. Again, it's been 15 years since my last professional pitch. So there's a period needed to build up that endurance, and I feel like I'm progressing in the right direction. So now, having said all that, let me hop over to the Armcare assessment and talk you through it. So I took this Armcare assessment before my recovery throwing today. So leading up to today, 3 days of long tossing, hybrid B long toss sessions, and then another recovery day. Again, 270 5-ounce throws, 5-ounce baseball throws, and then about 115 weighted plyo ball throws, plus the warm-ups before every throwing session and the recovery after every throwing session. So intense week. So very pleased with the strength and range of motion. Very pleased with the strength and range of motion assessment results. I'm going to start off with internal rotation, work my way down. I'll talk you through each of them. So internal rotation, my strength was 49.9 pounds today. That tells me I'm in the 50th percentile of professional athletes in my age range. I'm still having a little bit of an issue taking this assessment. I'm still scooting across the floor a bit. The only areas in our house that don't have hardwood floors are our closets. And I moved to our master bedroom closet and took this assessment in there today. So it mitigated the scooting, but there still was a little bit of scooting. So I think this registered a little bit lower than it should. Still not terrible. 50th percentile professional athletes in my age range. You look at the benchmark, I'm towards the top end of pros in my age range. Next to external rotation, 52.5 pounds. View details. I'm in the 100th percentile of professional athletes in my age range. Very good. Look at the benchmark. I'm exceeding by a decent amount pros in my age range. ER/IR ratio. This is showing the balance between external rotation strength and internal rotation strength. You want it fairly balanced. Again, I think I'm a little low on that IR strength because of the scooting. Take that into consideration. Jumping over here to the benchmark, I'm at 1.05. Again, taking into consideration that little bit of scooting, I'm probably around that 0.9, 0.95 mark where I should be. Scaption strength. I'm at 100%. I'm in the 100th percentile for professional athletes in my age range. Very good. Look at the benchmark. Decently outperforming my peers. For internal rotation, external rotation, and flexion, let me jump back to the home screen real quick. So my total arc of motion, the sum of my internal rotation and external rotation is normal. That's good. That's where I want to be. And for flexion, I'm normal, 173 degrees. That's where I want to be. So overall, very pleased with my strength and range of motion assessment after a fairly intense week of throwing and training. My arm feels like the endurance, durability is building up. No soreness today. Feel good. Not tired today. I felt great during my my recovery throwing session. I did. Let me jump back over to Pulse real quick and talk about some inconsistencies in the data that I'm seeing. So Wednesday, Thursday, essentially the same day, the same type of day. Thursday, it registered 1 high intent throw. Wednesday, it registered 22 high intent throws, and I threw the same distance. That's a little odd to me. Not sure if it's a user error with the sensor or if it's some indicator of fatigue, not quite sure. I did hire a Driveline pitching coach late yesterday. We're going to do our intake meeting next week, and where he's really going to help me is understanding this data that I'm looking at, understanding if there's anything I'm doing to produce inaccurate data with the pulse sensor. He's also going to help program me. So he's going to take all this data, look at it, use his expertise and say, here's what you need to be doing in terms of throwing. If you do this, you're under training or you're over training. He will program me how I should be programmed to most quickly progress me, strengthen my arm, get me where I want to be without putting me in risk of injury. So super excited about starting with him. Overall, really good week. Very happy with my strength and range of motion assessment results. That's all I have for you. It's the weekend for me. I am about 2 exits up from Truist Park. Braves and Astros are playing Game 3 of the World Series. First home game for the Braves. Let's go Braves. Bring home a championship. And that is it. As always, appreciate your all's time. Look forward to talking with you all again soon.